Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Jean Fleury, who is a former Chief of Staff of the French Air Force. Mr. Fleury, welcome to the France 24 interview.
Thank you.
You just wrote a book which in French, but which translates as The Afghan Quagmire. It's published by Jean Picolec. Before we get to Afghanistan, I want to ask you about Libya. It's been 4 months since the military operations have started, and the West has only intervened from the sky. And so I want to have your assessment as someone who was Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Can a war be won only from above?
No, the war cannot be won only from above. We have rebels, they are armed, and they have to fight. The problem is those young guys from Benghazi, they are very proud with their Kalashnikov when they are at the TV, but when the gun fires, they run like rabbits.
So that's the main problem.
And that's the main problem. Of course, after 4 months, they behave better. And I'm rather confident that the Berber tribes from Nafoussat Jebel are going to take over the Gaddafi army. But again, this will take some time. So we have to keep on, or it will be a real pity.
I mean, France has taken a decision. First of all, it decided to send combat helicopters, but also send weapons to the rebels, which would illustrate your point that you cannot only win through warplanes.
Well, the helicopters was certainly a good decision, but I have to recall that the helicopters are working in an air formation with aircraft above, because without them, they would be too vulnerable. It's a plus. It's a very good thing to send them, but they are coming from the air. And the boots on the ground have to be given by the Libyans themselves for 2 reasons. The first one, Resolution 1973, said no Western boots on the ground. And second, the Libyan wants to win by themselves and not by other armies. So we can't go on the Libyan soil.
But I mean, is it a good thing, and is it already within the boundaries of the resolution to give them weapons? The Russians don't agree, for example.
I don't know exactly what has been delivered to the rebels. I've seen that only by the newspapers, so I can't comment on it. I don't know exactly who has given those arms, how they have been dropped. I know nothing, only what has been given by the newspapers.
Do you see signs of growing impatience in the West, in the United States, in Europe? This week there'll be a debate in Parliament in France for the first time. The Minister of Defense said, okay, they have to negotiate. I mean, can you sense that after 4 months, Western leaders are wondering, well, we didn't go in for that. We expected that in a few weeks it would be over.
Public opinion always think everything will be done in a few days. Unfortunately, it's not like that. For Kosovo, it has taken 72 days with 10 times more aircraft. So it cannot be very quick. And I think we are at least at the middle of the fight, and I hope that within 3 months the rebels will arrive in Tripoli.
Right, because this is, I mean, you just mentioned Kosovo. Kosovo is an interesting parallel because it was an air war, but there was a real rebel force on the ground, and they are the ones who eventually made the difference, right?
No, I think that for Kosovo, we had to oblige the Serbian leader to accept, and this has been done by air bombing.
Right, but also by ground forces.
There was force on the ground, and it was useful, but the decision has been obtained by air intervention in 72 days.
Mm-hmm. I want now to come to Afghanistan. There have been several developments in recent weeks. First of all, Osama bin Laden was killed, not in Afghanistan, but in neighboring Pakistan. the United States, and then followed by France, has announced troop withdrawals, and we've officially been told that there are talks going on with the Taliban. What do you make of all those trends?
Well, first, bin Laden has been killed, and this is a very good thing. Second, bin Laden was only an ally of the Taliban, and it's important for the US that bin Laden is killed, because this allows President Obama to say, now I can negotiate with the Taliban. But the negotiation, I think, have started 18 months ago.
Long before it was admitted.
Very long before. Of course, everybody says, no, we do not negotiate. Mullah Omar says no. The United States says no. But there were negotiations, I'm sure of that. Last thing that's very important, the operation in Afghanistan after the Taliban withdrew of Afghanistan in 2001. It has been a pity the way things have been done. The US and the other nation led the Afghan managed by themselves, and nothing has been done. No police. We start to build a new army slowly, and nothing has been done for the police. In 2005, only few policemen have been trained, badly trained. They had an uniform, no pay, and they were ransoming the passers-by. That's not a way to build a new nation. General Petraeus decided that a new strategy has to be set on in Afghanistan to gain the hearts and not to kill everything which is moving. And in my book, I said that this year is the year of the truth. It's a success, or unfortunately not a success. I think the Taliban have been nearly stopped. It's not finished. They are powerful. But the situation is, I think, moving in the right sense. Some districts has been given to the Afghan army, and that's why the district where we had troops, we can withdraw those troops. And I think that's a decision why the President Obama has taken that decision to withdraw some of his GIs. My feeling, it's a little bit too early, because we need to be in a very strong position to negotiate with the Taliban. But I'm a military guy, and it's to the politician to decide. And President Obama has certainly many information I don't have.
Right, but what we know is that his military commanders were thinking the same thing as you, meaning that they wanted more troops a little bit longer to consolidate the situation, which they believe is not stable enough.
Fortunately, in democracy, the politics decide.
Fortunately or unfortunately?
Fortunately, and the military has to obey.
Right, but you said the talks with the Taliban have been going on for 18 months. It shows that there haven't been many results. I mean, there's still fighting going on. So is there a reason to be concerned that this is going nowhere?
You're right, but we are not in United States or in France, where the vote of 50.1% is enough to decide. In Afghanistan, the policy, the traditions, the consensus, everybody must agree. We have seen that for our stage, Guéquière and Taponnier. It has taken a lot of time, because everybody has to decide and to approve. We need consensus. It's awfully long. It's better, because after that, everybody goes in that sense. It's not somebody in one way, another in one way, but it takes a lot of time.
Do you sense among the Taliban that there is an evolution, that some of the Taliban are willing to lay down their weapons and negotiate?
Well, lay down their arms, it's something. Negotiate is another thing. Negotiate, certainly.
There have been complaints in the French military that it is overstretched, that there's a war in Afghanistan, a war in Libya, there's not enough money, there's not enough means, and that we could be headed toward a crisis. Do you agree?
I think that's true. We have paid the peace dividends, and now we have the result. We can do everything we have to do, and effectively,
we cannot
the
do
means.
everything.
The means we do not have enough means. It's just at the limit.
At the
Certainly,
limits.
yeah.
So France has to stop waging wars.
We'll need some time, and I think President Sarkozy has perfectly understood. He has decided that the military budget will have no cuts.
One of the very few budgets in that case. Jean Fleury, thank you very much for coming on the France 24 interview. It was a pleasure. And thank you all for watching. And stay tuned here for more news on France 24.